sabotajes por parte de Rusia. Sigue creciendo la tensión, el miedo en Europa, mientras precisamente habla en estos momentos el presidente ruso, Vladimir Putin. Lo escuchamos ya.
Volume of the direct investment of Russia to the Kazakhtani economy exceeded $4 billion, and the Kazakhstan's investment to the Russian economy reached an impressive level of $8.5 billion. In Kazakhstan, we have some 24,000 enterprises with the Russian participation, which is almost the half of the total amount of the enterprises with the foreign participation that are active in our country. It proves the high level of mutual trust and the interest in further strengthening of our bilateral relations. We have reached great successes in the industrial field. We have joint projects worth of $18 billion, and we plan for 49 more projects worth of $30 billion. And we're also working on gasifying a number of Kazakhstan's regions and expanding the supplies of the Russian energy to the east and to the south. Construction and modernization of the large-scale energy sites and facilities in our country to tap into the transit potential by developing the key transport corridors. We have also discussed the prospects of the implementation of projects, including the construction of the a road to Mongolia and using the Trans-Afghan transport corridor. I'm sure that the comprehensive implementation of all these initiatives in the direction of north-south is in the interest of the friendly peoples of our countries. And we attach a special significance in our bilateral agenda, the Interregional Cooperation Forum. Today, myself and President Putin, via video link, we participated in the 20th anniversary forum that is taking place now in the capital city of Bashkortostan. I'm sure that the UFA forum will give an additional impetus to our interregional contacts on the wide range of directions, and the Consulate General of the Russian Federation in Aktau, Kazakhstan, will be soon launched. We attach great significance to the cooperation in the fields of science and culture. Yesterday in Astana, we held a scientific forum of historians, and before that in Almaty, we held a forum for the leaders of the volunteering movements of the two countries. And tomorrow we are going to have an expert council of this event. It should make a strong contribution to strengthening cooperation between our countries. We firmly stand for the comprehensive, systematic support of the large-scale cultural and humanitarian initiatives at the state level. And in this key, I made a decision to launch in Astana next spring an alley dedicated to the eternal Russian-Kazakh friendship, where people will be able to spend their free time. Seizing the opportunity, I would like to express our gratitude to the Russian side for actively participating in the 5th International Nomad Games that were held in early September in Astana. The Russian athletes, some 180 of them, showed good results in various disciplines. In 2026, Kazakhstan is going to host 3rd Games of the Future. It's a unique competition that was initiated by Russia, combines traditional disciplines and esports. And I would like to mention the days of the Astana Culture in Moscow that were held in August this year and generated a lot of interest for Muscovites and guests of Moscow. And the great Kazakh poet and thinker now has his monument in Moscow, and at the Bolshoi Theater in Moscow, the audience enjoyed the classics of the Kazakh opera work. And we plan Kazakhstan's exhibitions in such legendary museums as the Tretyakov Gallery and Hermitage. All these proves the willingness of our brotherly nations to strengthen cooperation and ties, and we expand our cooperation in education. In Russian universities, we have more than 60,000 students from Kazakhstan, which proves the high interest in the Russian educational standard and the interest in both countries in exchanging knowledge and experience. And under the previously reached agreements in Kazakhstan, we have 7 branches of the leading technical universities from Russia. And soon, the branch of MGIMO will open its doors in Astana. And today, we've opened a branch of the Kazakhstan's National University named after Al-Faradi in Omsk that is going to become the first representation of Kazakhstani higher education facility in Russia. And we were speaking about building Kazakh schools in Russian border regions and Russian schools inside Kazakhstan. We are speaking about Jambu, Kazal-Orda, and Turkestan regions, and it will allow us to strengthen educational ties between our countries and give new opportunities for the new generation of our people. An important factor that unites our peoples is Russian language. I would like to underline that 1/3 of all the students of Kazakhstan schools receive education in Russian language. We attach great significance to this matter in Kazakhstan, and that's why I suggested to establish an international organization on Russian language. Another important topic within our talks was supporting compatriots that reside in the territories of Russia and Kazakhstan. And a memorandum on cooperation between Ante Star Foundation and Россотрудничество would play an important role, and it is being negotiated now. A special role in strengthening mutual understanding between our peoples is, it receives a lot of interest in our people. Today, with President Putin, we discussed the dynamic of cooperation between our countries. In multilateral organizations, we exchanged opinions on the most urgent matters of the regional and global affairs. And with my satisfaction, I note our mutual understanding on cooperation in such important multilateral organizations as CIS, SCO, CSTO, SICA, and others. And today, we have no such area where our countries would not cooperate. And it is very important that between Russia and Kazakhstan, there are no disputes. We always manage to find a balanced solution that considers the interests of the both countries. Seizing this opportunity, I would like to express my gratitude to the esteemed President of Russia for the personal attention he pays to strengthening friendly relations between our nations. We have a lot of work ahead of us. We have a lot to do in 2025. We need to implement a lot of joint projects. I'm confident they will yield great benefit both for the citizens and businesses of our countries. Next January, we are going to celebrate 20th anniversary of an agreement on the Russian-Kazakhstani state border. In 2025, we also plan to celebrate milestone events, 80th anniversary of the Great Victory and 70th anniversary of the Baikonur Cosmodrome construction. We agreed to hold solemn events to celebrate these milestone anniversaries. And the bilateral, as you can see, the bilateral agenda gets more and more initiatives and interesting projects. And in conclusion, I would like to say that Kazakhstan and Russia followed the path of strengthening strategic partnership, laying the foundation for progress and prosperity of our nations, and especially of the new generation, of the young generation. I'm confident that the positive outcome of today's event will help us bring our allied relations to the new level. Thank you for your attention. Tokayev, first of all, thank you so much for inviting us. At your suggestion, this visit has a status of a state visit, but I would like to say that the protocol, solemn ceremonies did not stand in the way of our fruitful work, which is a characteristic of our traditional meetings. We discussed a wide range of bilateral matters in the political, economic, and humanitarian fields. We exchanged opinions on the most urgent regional and international matters. In the joint declaration that we've just signed, we are setting new ambitious goals on further deepening of the strategic partnership between our countries. Its implementation will be facilitated by the numerous intergovernmental and interdepartmental documents that we've just signed that cover various fields of cooperation, from energy and transport to healthcare and justice. From both sides noted that after the last year, the mutual trade, something that we've mentioned a lot today, almost reached the level of $30 billion. According to our data, it's $28.4 billion, and in January, September of this year, it exceeded $20 billion. And the structure, which is important, of mutual trade is becoming more and more diverse, and non-commodity products with a lot of added value is playing more and more important role. And the share of national currencies and mutual settlements is almost 90%, which allows us to protect commercial transactions between our countries from the negative external pressure, including the political climate changes. And the Russian investment, something that was also mentioned, is $13 billion in the Republic. There are more than 23,000 enterprises with the Russian participation, and more than 60 large-scale joint projects are being implemented in all the key areas of Kazakhstan's economy. We are consistently developing bilateral cooperation in energy due to the activities of the Caspian Pipeline Consortium via Russia and Russia port infrastructure in the Black Sea. We are shipping the biggest volume of the Kazakhstan's oil that is being shipped abroad, and Russian oil via Kazakhstan is being shipped and supplied to China, and our country is receiving coal from Kazakhstan, and we're exchanging energy between our countries. We are speaking about constructing 3 new power plants in Kazakhstan. Gazprom is supplying gas to the Kazakhstani consumers and refining fuel from Kakacherinak oil fields at the Orenburg refining plant. And since last year, Russian gas via Kazakhstan is supplied to the neighboring Uzbekistan, and we are going to enhance these supplies. We are developing our cooperation in the field of nuclear power. We have 6 joint enterprises on extracting and enriching uranium. Our companies are implementing numerous large-scale successful projects in machine building, chemical industry, fertilizers. Roselmash is manufacturing farming machinery in the Kazakhstan's plant. During our talks, we discussed our cooperation in transport and logistics. Both sides have interest towards further expansion of the mutual shipment via railroads and airplanes, and we are developing the North-South international corridor from Russia to India, and the eastern part of this corridor is going through Kazakhstan. It is important that we manage to preserve and to multiply cooperation in the field of the space exploration with our Kazakhstani friend. We continue to use the Baikonur Cosmodrome. We are implementing the Bytedirect project that means construction of the new complex to launch the Soyuz 5 rocket carrier. It will be launched already next year, as was planned before. In parallel to our visit to Astana, in Ufa, they hold the 20th anniversary Russia-Kazakhstan Inter-Regional Cooperation Forum. I'm not going to delve into that in more detail because we've just talked to the colleagues that are now meeting in Ufa. and we attach great significance to the topic of humanitarian cooperation, expansion of our cooperation and culture in sports, in the youth organizations, and in the field of education, obviously, as well. In the Russian universities, we have some 60,000 Kazakh students. For a long time and successfully, many branches of the Russian universities have been functioning in Kazakhstan, including the Moscow State University. And today we signed intergovernmental cooperation on the inauguration of the Chelyabinsk University in Kostanay, and soon MGIMO, Foreign Ministry's MGIMO, is going to open its doors in Kazakhstan, and MGIMO is celebrating its 80th anniversary this year. And in September in Astana, a large international conference was held, and the president of Kazakhstan, Mr. Tokayev, was also spoke at that conference. And as is known, he graduated from this higher education institution. And we appreciate a lot that in Kazakhstan the Russian language is used a lot, and it is being supported by the leadership of the Republic. And we are grateful to the President of Kazakhstan for his initiative on establishing an international organization on Russian language. Its activity, I'm sure, is going to help to support and promote it as a means of international and interstate communication. Russia is helping with the construction of new Russian-speaking schools in Kazakhstan and enhancing Russian-speaking education in the country. 3 more such schools we plan to open in Kazakhstan in the nearest future. Considering the key international issues, we reaffirm that on most of them, the positions of Russia and Kazakhstan are quite close. Our countries coordinate our approaches in the UN and other multilateral organizations. This year, Russia is presiding over CIS and BRICS, and Kazakhstan is presiding over CSTO and SCO. At the BRICS Leaders Summit, we made a decision on establishing a new category of the partner states of this organization, and we have agreed on the list of countries that can become a partner country, and Kazakhstan was invited to become one. And we'll look forward to seeing President Tokayev in late December in St. Petersburg for the Eurasian Economic Council and informal CIS leaders summit. And in 2025, peoples of our countries are going to celebrate the 80th anniversary of our victory in the Great Patriotic War, our common victory. It is important that we remember the feats of the exploits of our fathers and grandfathers who fought Nazism shoulder to shoulder, and we will continue to do everything to make sure that the new generations do not forget what was the price that we paid to protect our freedom. It was our pleasure to invite President Tokayev to participate in the celebratory events in Moscow on May 9th. And in conclusion, I would like to underline that we are satisfied with the outcome of the talks that we held. I'm confident that this visit, our talks, will help us to continue to develop multifaceted Russian-Kazakhstani cooperation for the benefit of our countries and our peoples. Thank you for your attention.